Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Loom. The CD-ROM talkie version is what we're doing now. We've gotten through the first 30 minutes, found out we're the Loom child apparently, and our name is Bobbin Threadbare, and we don't really know anything else other than we figured out how to use this enough to dye and undye clothes. And so we need to, generally speaking, just find things, see if they give us any music we can play with our 3 notes that we have right now, and try to figure out what we're actually trying to accomplish.
I like the view from the cliff better.
So we're moving into the next area. The bigger story, it seems, is that the world is going to fall into chaos, and we've got to figure out what we're going to do about that, whether escape or turn into monsters of shadow. What's in this hole?
There's an owl in there.
And it... Every thread is 4 symbols long. Every draft.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So, if we look in this one, and this one, and this one, that's probably a draft.
Another owl.
Didn't
know there were so many owls in these woods.
So it's telling me the order to play the song. And if this gives me the ability to see in the
That
dark...
one is empty.
Is there a hole over here? Let's look at this owl.
He's fast asleep.
Hmm.
I can't read it.
Is there a way...
The owl's tail feathers are covering the words.
Is there a way to
I like the view from the cliff better.
possibly wake up the owl? We need that 4th thing.
Ouch.
There we go. We click on the bunny and kill it quite violently. There's a level of comedy that is in LucasArts games that's similar, where you do things like that, have unintended consequences. This should work now that we got the owl in it.
All the holes are full now.
So, that's not right.
I guess that isn't a draft.
Let's see. Let's listen again.
There's an owl in there. That thread's too high for me. I guess that isn't a draft.
See, this is strange because this sounds like the beginning of this, but then it needs a lower note. So maybe I'm mishearing this. Let's start again. And it seems like all your spells are relative to whatever you're clicking on, so let's try this.
I guess that draft doesn't apply to holes.
So, we got a new spell that I'm suspecting probably means look in the darkness. So over here we saw some darkness. So hopefully we'll find something new from this point. Man, just walking across 2 scenes with no audio in the background seems so odd. So we come over here to the darkness. And then try this. And now it's lit up. So we did it right. And so here's a weaver using a loom to spin gold.
Don't these people ever clean up after themselves?
So not only can they weave the thread of fate, but they can weave gold.
Don't these people ever clean up after themselves?
So is there a spell that will play? Alright, so let's see if I figured it out.
Don't these people ever clean up after themselves?
1, 2, 3, 4. And we can get gold.
I've already spun all that.
And that means I can undo it too. And that turns it all into thread.
Maybe I should spin this back. Maybe I should spin this back.
No, I think I'm good. So what's interesting about that is because we now know how to turn straw into gold, perhaps we also know how to dye clothes to gold. So let's come over here and let's see. Now this is slightly terrifying.
No, that's not right.
Because there's a lot of more things. Probably 4 more notes. And that means some weirdness may occur. See if this does anything.
I guess that draft isn't going to help me here.
Well, worth a try. To see if possibly I could change things to gold. Maybe it only works for wooden things. So that tells me I probably don't need to go by the pier over here. Maybe I could go click on the tree. That would be interesting. No, let's not do that though, because that's not where we're supposed to go. Well, we may try that if we ever get over there, but clearly there were thorns we walked on when we ran the bunny into the owl, and thorns into gold is probably our solution. There's nothing but these holes to click on. And I see no reason to dye the owls green. Let's read what's on this grave.
Destiny shall draw the lightning down from heaven, roll its thunder far across the sea, to where I wait upon the shore of wonder, on the day the sky is opened and the tree is split asunder.
So apparently I'm supposed to call down lightning on that tree we saw at the beginning.
The day the sky is opened.
So we really don't know anything yet.
I like the view from the cliff better.
And so it now becomes very obvious why we can see the sky in so many different places.
Ouch.
So let's see. You have kind of the lazy mage problem here, where all your solutions are going to involve.
I don't think you can weave with thorns.
All of the solutions are going to involve just spells. So, what do you mean I can't weave with thorns? Let's try D.
don't think you can weave with thorns.
It seems silly that I could do that. And let's see. Let's see if we can turn it green.
I don't think you can weave with thorns.
But I don't have a lightning spell right now. So that's not gonna work. And what was the spell to brighten things?
There's an owl in there.
If I click on the sky, maybe I can make the sky lighten up.
Maybe I should stand a bit closer.
So it is telling me to go this direction, but I still don't feel like I have the right draft. That being said, I don't know what else I could do. So let's go over here, even though I said this is probably not where I'm supposed to go yet. Clearly, this is part of the solution. I can't do anything specifically with the tree. Let's try this.
Didn't work. Oh well. Dawn's coming anyway.
So I can't bring out the sun. And there's just like no open draft. Playing on expert mode, probably a mistake. Probably a huge mistake. And although I'm not sure how much would really change from this point. Because if I'm simply just having trouble figuring out what to do next, that's not going to help anything. If there was an open spell, this clam. Let's try this. Ah, I got a new one. Now we have open. And so now I have a newer spell I can do. Alright, so if I wanted, for instance, to close the clam, let's see. It should be this.
I guess that isn't a draft.
Maybe it's this.
I hate to ruin the poor girl's breakfast.
So that is closed.
I don't know why it just lets me jump in the water. Why it thinks that's funny. But whatever. So we've been in 4 areas, and 1, 2, 3, I suppose 4, 5, 6 areas in total. And we've learned that one new spell, but I don't think the one new string that we learned is going to be enough to play the song on the loom. If anything, I think I'm going to have to learn all the strings. So we target the sky and hopefully remember this. Very simple MIDI songs because there was only MIDI when this happened. There goes their tree. And it looks like it almost turned into a boat. Maybe it did turn into a boat. Maybe it exactly turned into a boat. Interesting.
Is it over?
It seems so strange you couldn't squeeze the good elements of this into a reboot. A just quick reboot. Of all the companies that like Telltale that just want to do episodic seasonal things, you could probably in just a couple of months' time do something like this with newer graphics and voice acting and not really even have to change too much of the actual story. And you have the writing done for you already if you're doing just a full, I guess it would be a remake there instead of a reboot. I don't know if you could have a whole series of musical based things, but we did have for a long time the Rock Band games, and I imagine you could, through a lot of effort, connect a Rock Band controller to this. You'd have to map each input to a point on the screen to click.
Destiny shall draw the lightning down from heaven, roll its thunder far across the sea, to where I wait upon the shore of wonder, on the day the sky is opened and the tree is split asunder.
That doesn't seem like...
It might help to point at something first. The day the sky is opened.
Let's see if we can open this.
Ouch.
Let's see.
I don't think you can weave with thorns.
So, I think we're done with this whole area. I don't see a reason why you would want to take the hole, for instance, and open that. It's worth trying just for fun, I suppose.
No, wait. That hole's already wide open.
So what if I closed it? And they don't immediately tell you that this works, that you can play the songs.
Whatever lives in that hole may not appreciate this.
The idea of playing songs backwards to do the opposite result doesn't actually seem to matter, at least not right now. The only question left is this chamber of the weavers. They're such a strange culture. It almost seems like they weave tents to live in, and then inside these tents they have this magical secret facility. Let's see. So what if I was to undye this? I messed up.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So this is green. Let's try this.
I guess that isn't a draft.
I forgot to dye.
I guess that isn't a draft. I guess that isn't a draft. Draft must not work on tapestries.
I don't know what I just did, but it certainly worked. Playing on expert mode is going to be a problem. If I have to remember drafts. I've said that several times though. You know what? I could probably just look up a walkthrough that will show me all the drafts. And I don't think that would be too much cheating on my part. Can I play this song now? No, it wants white, green, blue, red. And the highest I can do is...
That thread's too high for me.
Right now is I can do middle.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So unless I was going to do something like open.
Well, that didn't work.
Or if I was going to maybe try this.
Well, that didn't work.
Yep. I don't think anything's going to work on the Loom until we can play the full staff of songs. The full gamut of sounds. You could make a game that was a bit more of an adventure instead of a point and click adventure where you found different whistles, pipes for like a flute, kind of like Pan's flute with the pipes, and put those together and work. Or you could find different notes on, say, maybe a mechanical device. Or you could just memorize different songs and have the game itself remember that you know these songs. That's, I think, probably what this hurts the most from, is the fact that it's not pulling up different. It's not saving the fact that you know the song. Which I guess even when we're talking Ocarina of Time, which I suppose this is a major predecessor to Ocarina of Time, they didn't bother teaching you the songs then either. And I hadn't really thought of that until just now, but yeah, absolutely. Loom is a major predecessor to Ocarina of Time, and maybe that goes to point out that you can only have a music game like this where you control and control things with music once every few decades. I certainly would say Ocarina of Time probably works a lot better than this does, just by training the player and working. So if we want to get past this, we're going to get rid of the tornado. So we're either going to learn a new song or just die.
I think that's close enough.
So let's try this.
I guess that isn't a draft.
So I have to listen to the song before I know.
Well, that only twisted it tighter.
So this is the first point where they teach you to do it backwards. So this, then this.
I guess that isn't a draft.
Let's listen to it again.
I think that's close enough.
So this, then this, then this, then this. Playing the song backwards. And that undoes the twister. So at some point in the future we will probably find something else twisted, although maybe not, because there's not too much game here. And we just immediately got a new level. Another level. I remember when I first played this game being a lot more complicated and confused. But it still could do that to me. But maybe I'm just a little bit older and wiser as far as musical interaction. I'm still pretty tone deaf, but when you're playing with very basic notes, I think I can tell the difference.
Halt! Who goes?
Well, well, well. Looks like a scrawny runt trying to sneak into our flocks.
Sneak? You call that sneaking? I heard them coming all the way in from town.
Thought you were going to fleece some shepherds, did you? Maybe we ought to take the shears to you instead.
Listen, I mean, I'm not looking for sheep or trouble. I'm looking for a flock of swans.
Swans?
Swans! You know, birds.
Oh, swans! Of course!
We should have known. Everybody comes here when they want swans.
Next you'll be telling us you're some sort of wizard off to fly away with them birds.
Right.
Wizard? Wizard? You wouldn't happen to be the great wizard that Fleece was telling us about, would you now?
Fleece?
He is sort of dressed like a wizard.
I don't know. He doesn't look very powerful to me.
Me neither. I say we don't let him by until we know for sure. Come on then, wizard. Let's see some magic. Or else...
So I'm gonna select these guys and let's just twist them. So that should be, let's see, this.
I guess that isn't a draft.
Alright, so no, it's this, and then this,
then this, then this. Really?
I guess that isn't a draft.
I could have sworn this was...
I guess that isn't a draft.
Going somewhere, little wizard?
Let's see what they want me to play.
I sure wish I knew a draft that would work on shepherds.
And look, the dialogue's not even playing here.
I sure wish I knew a draft that would work on shepherds.
The way this is animated here, I think this is a hint. So, let's try this.
Well, that draft didn't seem to do much good.
Well, let's try that again. Backwards.
Well, that draft didn't seem to do much good.
Let's see. What was the die spell?
Well, that draft didn't seem to do much good. I sure wish I knew a draft that would work on shepherds.
I guess I need to go learn.
Come on, lads. He's had enough. Let him go.
Some kind of wizard, eh?
Don't trip on your robe, little wizard.
Get on, you lazy bunch of yous. Back to work.
It might help to point at something first.
Maybe we can try this again. I think I got it.
So are we.
So.
It might help to point at something first.
And then. That's not right.
Guess that isn't a draft. I guess that isn't a draft.
It's got to be this note. And then. Not that note. Not that note.
I guess that isn't a draft. I guess that isn't a draft.
I'm gonna need a little help here. I'm gonna need a little help. Well, starting next recording, I'm going to have the drafts available to me on my phone so I can look at them, because they're getting just too complicated now. There's too many of them trying to rattle in my head, and being somebody who was never really good with music and never learned to memorize music or play an instrument or anything like that, it's too much for me, and that's probably the reason why I never did learn any of those things. That's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below.
Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.